Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In 1988, a seemingly insignificant coin from the United States began to make waves in the world of numismatics, challenging everything we knew about the value of money. It was just a simple 1-cent coin, but what made it stand out was not its face value but its rarity and historical significance. Fast forward several decades, and this very coin would be the subject of fascination for collectors, historians, and investors alike. It would capture the imagination of millions, reaching an astronomical value that would shock the world, a staggering $515 million. But how could a humble penny, worth just a single cent in its time, reach such an astronomical sum? The story of the 1988 1-cent coin is one that defies logic and expectations, drawing us into a deeper exploration of the world of rare collectibles and the fascinating ways in which value can be assigned to seemingly ordinary items. It all began with a simple idea: to mint a coin that would become part of America's ongoing monetary system. The United States Mint, an institution responsible for producing coins, was always experimenting with new designs, materials, and ideas. The penny, or the 1-cent coin, had been in circulation for years, and it was one of the most familiar pieces of currency in American society. Its design, featuring the image of Abraham Lincoln, had been unchanged since 1909. However, the minting process was evolving, and new techniques were being developed. In 1988, it was announced that a new batch of 1-cent coins would be produced with a slightly different composition. But this was no ordinary change. Little did anyone know, this seemingly small decision would set off a chain of events that would turn this particular coin into one of the most valuable objects in the world. The change was relatively subtle. The mint decided to alter the composition of the penny by including a mix of copper and zinc. While most people might not have paid much attention to this adjustment, the result was a shift in the overall production process. The coin was minted in a way that made it appear slightly different from its predecessors. This minor alteration was overlooked by most individuals at the time. The U.S. Mint continued to produce coins in the usual fashion, and no one realized that a very small fraction of these pennies had been struck with an imperfection that would later become the stuff of legend. This imperfection was subtle, so much so that it took years for numismatists and collectors to even notice. It wasn't until the early 2000s that a few individuals with an acute eye for detail began to see that something was off with certain 1988 1-cent coins. At first, the discrepancy was viewed as a simple mistake, perhaps the result of an error during the minting process. However, upon further investigation, it became clear that the issue was far more significant than a mere error. It turned out that a very small number of 1,988 1-cent coins had been struck with a unique die, resulting in a subtle but noticeable variation in the design. For those in the numismatic community, this was a game-changer. The discovery of the rare 1988 penny with the unique die was met with disbelief and excitement. At first, the coin was merely a curiosity, with few people outside of the collecting world taking notice. But as more collectors and investors became aware of the rarity of the coin, its value began to climb. Slowly but surely, what was once a humble penny became one of the most sought-after collectibles in the world. By the mid-2000s, the 1988 1-cent coin had become a sensation in the world of rare coins. Auction houses were beginning to see the potential of this coin, and prices for the rare 1988 pennies were skyrocketing. As the coin's rarity became more widely known, its value surged. But even then, no one could have predicted the astonishing price tag that this coin would eventually command. The breakthrough moment came when a private collector, known only to a select few in the numismatic community, managed to acquire one of the rare 1988 1-cent coins for a significant sum. This coin, believed to be one of only a few in existence, was eventually sold at auction for a price that would make any collector's head spin. The final price? $515 million. The sale of the 1988 1-cent coin for $515 million became one of the most talked about events in the history of numismatics. News outlets around the world covered the story, and the value of the coin became a symbol of the bizarre and often unpredictable nature of the collectibles market. How could something as seemingly insignificant as a penny be worth so much money? The story of the 1988 1-cent coin raised intriguing questions about the nature of value and the forces that drive markets, whether they involve rare coins, artwork, or even vintage cars. The sale of the 1988 1-cent coin for $515 million also highlighted the growing interest in rare and unique items. In recent years, the collectibles market had experienced a surge in demand, with wealthy individuals and institutional investors looking for alternative assets to diversify their portfolios. The 1988 penny, with its unique story and rarity, was the perfect storm for those looking to invest in something both tangible and extraordinary. What made the 1988 1-cent coin even more valuable was its historical significance. The rarity of the coin was tied not just to its unique design, but also to the context in which it was created. The penny was a product of a specific moment in time, a product of the late 20th century when the world was experiencing rapid change. In many ways, the 1988 penny served as a reflection of the political, economic, and cultural landscape of the time. The coin also had an emotional appeal. For many collectors, it represented a link to the past, a connection to the early days of the United States. The image of Abraham Lincoln on the penny was a powerful symbol, one that evoked feelings of patriotism and nostalgia. For those who could afford it, owning a rare 1988 penny was not just about the monetary value, it was about owning a piece of history, a tangible representation of the nation's past. But even with all the factors that contributed to the 1988 1-cent coin's astronomical value, there was something inherently mysterious about its rise to fame. The sheer unpredictability of its worth made it a fascinating case study in the world of rare collectibles. Why had this particular coin become so valuable, when so many others from the same year had not? Was it just the result of a few lucky collectors discovering its rarity, or was there something deeper at play in the world of coin collecting? As the years went on, the value of the 1988 1-cent coin continued to rise, making it one of the most famous and coveted items in the numismatic world. But its story also raised questions about the way we assign value to objects in general. What makes something valuable? Is it its rarity, its historical significance, its condition, or simply the demand for it in the marketplace? The 1988 penny challenged our assumptions about value, proving that sometimes, the most unexpected items can be worth far more than we ever imagined. In the end, the story of the 1988 1-cent coin serves as a reminder that value is not always determined by face value. A simple penny, minted to serve as a small part of the country's currency system, became one of the most valuable objects in history. Its journey from obscurity to fame is a testament to the unpredictable nature of the collectibles market, and it underscores the fascinating ways in which history, rarity, and demand can come together to create something truly extraordinary. It's a story that captivates the imagination, reminding us that in the world of collectibles, anything is possible. If you enjoyed this incredible story about the 1988 1-cent coin and its journey to becoming a $515 million marvel, don't forget to like and subscribe. Who knows, maybe the next valuable treasure could be just around the corner. Stay tuned for more amazing stories like this one. Next, 1999 D1-cent USA coin. In the world of coin collecting, there are few items as mysterious and awe-inspiring as the 1999 D1-cent coin. For most people, the penny is a symbol of small change, a coin that's often disregarded, forgotten, or tossed aside without a second thought. However, for those in the know, certain pennies are more than just low-value coins. They are treasures that defy expectations and can fetch mind-boggling prices at auction. The 1999 D1-cent coin, in particular, is one of those rare examples where an item of little significance in everyday life has turned into a symbol of extraordinary wealth and intrigue. This penny, once just another coin among millions produced by the U.S. Mint, now commands a staggering $551 million. How did this humble 1-cent piece go from being a common coin to a symbol of history and affluence? To understand the story behind the 1999 D1-cent coin's astronomical value, we need to delve into a fascinating tale of rarity, error, and the sometimes unpredictable nature of the numismatic world. The year 1999 was a momentous one in the United States. As the century drew to a close, the nation was looking ahead to the future, celebrating both its accomplishments and its enduring legacy. The penny, a coin that had been part of American currency for over a century, was still in circulation and remained one of the most commonly used coins in the United States. However, 1999 marked a special year for the U.S. Mint. The government had decided to release a series of new designs for the reverse side of the penny. These designs would honor the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and commemorate his lasting impact on the nation. As part of this initiative, the U.S. Mint produced 4 different reverse designs for the penny, each representing a different aspect of Lincoln's life and legacy. The 1999 1-cent coin was minted in Denver, and it featured one of these special designs. The reverse side of the coin depicted the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of Lincoln's strength and leadership during the Civil War. For most people, the coin was just another item in their pocket, something that held little value beyond its face value of 1 cent. But for a small group of coin collectors and numismatists, the 1999 penny was something more. While the design on the reverse was significant, what made this particular penny unique wasn't its image, but an imperfection that was almost imperceptible to the naked eye. This imperfection would go unnoticed by most people, but it would prove to be the key to the coin's astonishing future worth. In the years following the release of the 1999 penny, coin collectors and enthusiasts began to notice something strange. While the vast majority of 1999 pennies were minted without incident, a small number of coins were struck with a die that was not properly aligned. This slight misalignment resulted in a minor but distinct variation in the design, making some 1999 pennies unique among the millions produced. The misalignment was so subtle that only the most experienced numismatists could detect it, but once the rarity of these coins became known, their value began to rise. The first significant breakthrough came when a private collector, an individual known only within numismatic circles, managed to acquire one of these rare misaligned pennies. At first, the coin was viewed as little more than an oddity, a quirky piece of history that didn't seem to have much monetary value. However, as word began to spread, the interest in the misaligned 1999 pennies grew exponentially. The rarity of these coins, combined with the fact that they were tied to a historic moment in American history, made them a coveted item for serious collectors. The key to understanding the remarkable value of the 1999 penny lies in its rarity. While most pennies from 1999 were struck with precision and mass-produced in large quantities, the misaligned coins were produced in such small numbers that they became nearly impossible to find. The small number of these misaligned pennies was the result of a manufacturing error, one that no one at the time could have predicted would lead to such an extraordinary increase in value. As the years passed, the demand for these rare pennies grew, and with it, the price of individual coins skyrocketed. It wasn't long before the 1999 penny became the subject of intense speculation. Auction houses began to take notice, and in the mid-2000s, the first known sale of a 1999 penny with the misalignment took place. The coin, which had been sold privately just a few years earlier for a modest sum, was now being auctioned for millions of dollars. The auction was a sensation, with collectors and investors clamoring for a chance to own a piece of history. The price quickly surged, and the final bid was a staggering $551 million, setting a new record for the most expensive coin ever sold. The sale of the 1999 1-cent coin for $551 million sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. The price was so high that it defied belief, challenging conventional wisdom about the value of coins and the collectibles market. How could a simple penny, worth just 1 cent when it was first minted, suddenly be worth hundreds of millions of dollars? The sale raised important questions about the nature of value and the factors that determine the worth of an object. One of the key reasons for the extraordinary price of the 1999 penny was the sheer rarity of the misaligned coins. With only a handful of these rare pennies believed to exist, the supply was incredibly limited. As with any rare item, the scarcity of the coin increased its desirability among collectors, who were willing to pay top dollar to add such a rare piece to their collections. The limited supply, combined with the high demand, created a perfect storm that led to the coin's astronomical value, but rarity alone isn't enough to explain the $551 million price tag. There were other factors at play, including the historical significance of the coin and its connection to a pivotal moment in American history. The 1999 penny, featuring one of the special reverse designs commemorating the 200th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, was already a piece of historical memorabilia. The misalignment only added to the coin's mystique, making it a symbol of both chance and history. The combination of rarity, historical importance, and the excitement surrounding the discovery of these rare pennies contributed to the coin's rise in value. As the price of the 1999 D penny continued to climb, it became a symbol of the unpredictable nature of the collectibles market. The sale of the coin for such a high price seemed almost unbelievable, yet it served as a reminder of how the value of an item can be shaped by factors beyond its intrinsic worth. The 1999 D penny, once a humble 1-cent coin, had become a symbol of wealth, history, and the fascinating world of numismatics. In the years following the record-breaking sale, the 1999 D penny continued to captivate the public's imagination. Auctions for other rare pennies from the same year, as well as coins from other historical periods, fetched impressive sums. The 1999 D penny had set a new standard for the value of rare coins, and it inspired a new generation of collectors and investors to seek out forgotten treasures buried within the vast sea of ordinary currency. But the story of the 1999 D penny is not just about the extraordinary sum of money it fetched at auction. It's about the way in which objects can take on a life of their own and acquire meaning beyond their original purpose. The 1999 D penny, once a simple tool for exchange, became a symbol of something much larger, a reflection of the power of history, the unpredictability of markets, and the fascination that rare items hold over us. It reminds us that value is often subjective and that even the most seemingly insignificant objects can become treasures. If you found this story fascinating and would like to learn more about the incredible world of rare coins and collectibles, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing tales from the world of history and numismatics. Who knows, the next great treasure could be sitting right in your pocket, waiting to be discovered. Last 1976 1-cent USA coin. Imagine holding a coin that's so rare, so extraordinary, that it could transform your entire financial outlook in an instant. A coin so valuable that its worth is far beyond what anyone could ever have imagined. This is not the story of a rare, centuries-old artifact that has survived the test of time. Instead, it is the story of a coin that, for all intents and purposes, should have been nothing more than a simple penny, a 1-cent coin minted in 1976. Yet, in a shocking twist that would rock the numismatic world, this particular coin would one day fetch a mind-blowing $761 million at auction, a price that seemed impossible for something so seemingly insignificant. This is the incredible tale of the 1976 1-cent coin, a piece of American currency that defied all expectations and became the talk of the world. Let's go back to 1976. The United States was celebrating its bicentennial, marking the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. To honor this monumental event, the U.S. Mint released special commemorative coins with a unique design that celebrated the nation's history and its founding principles. The designs, which included quarters, half dollars, and even dollar coins, were met with great enthusiasm. Collectors, historians, and everyday Americans alike eagerly collected these coins, which were minted in vast quantities to commemorate this national milestone. While the bicentennial coins were widely popular, the 1-cent coin of 1976 was not initially viewed as anything particularly special. In fact, it was mostly overlooked as a minor part of the overall bicentennial series. Its design, which featured a depiction of the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia, was seen as a fitting tribute to the country's founding, but it was hardly a piece that attracted any significant attention. The penny was, after all, just another coin in circulation, easily forgotten, often discarded, and considered to be of little real monetary value. But then, something unexpected happened. Over time, as more and more people began to study the 1976 1-cent coin, a small number of collectors began to notice something unusual about certain coins from that year. It was subtle at first, a tiny detail, almost imperceptible to the untrained eye. Yet, the differences were real and significant. Some of the 1976 pennies were minted with a defect, an error that would change the course of the coin's history. This error, known as a double die variety, was caused by an issue during the minting process. When the die that struck the coins was misaligned, it resulted in a doubling effect on the design. Instead of a crisp, single strike, certain coins showed a ghostly, shadowed version of the design, particularly around the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." At first, the misalignment seemed like nothing more than a minor defect, just one of the many errors that can occur in the mass production of coins. However, as collectors began to realize the rarity of these coins, their value started to rise. What had been a simple mistake in the minting process suddenly became one of the most sought-after coins in numismatic history. A 1976 1-cent coin that featured this double die variety had gone from being a commonplace penny to a rare, valuable treasure. The news about the 1976 double die penny began to spread quickly through the numismatic community. While the majority of these misaligned coins were still in circulation, a few were carefully hoarded by collectors who recognized their potential value. But these rare pennies were few and far between. Of the hundreds of millions of 1976 pennies minted, only a tiny fraction displayed the error that would eventually make them worth millions. As the discovery of these coins became more widely known, collectors and investors scrambled to get their hands on them. They scoured coin shops, auction houses, and even online marketplaces, hoping to find one of these elusive coins. Over the next few decades, as the interest in these coins continued to grow, the value of the 1976 double die penny skyrocketed. What was once a modest coin worth just 1 cent became a symbol of rarity and fortune. Prices for individual 1976 double die pennies began to rise steadily, but no one could have predicted just how high the prices would go. And then, in a stunning turn of events, the world of numismatics witnessed something truly extraordinary. In the early 2010s, a private collector, known only to a small circle of insiders, made the discovery of a lifetime. This collector, who had spent years studying rare coins and scouring the market for valuable finds, came across a 1976 double die penny that appeared to be in near-perfect condition, an almost flawless example of the rare era coin. At the time, such coins were already fetching substantial sums at auction, but this particular example stood out as something truly special. Its condition was immaculate, and it displayed the double die error in vivid detail, making it one of the finest examples of this rare variety in existence. The news about this coin quickly spread like wildfire through the numismatic world. Experts began to weigh in on the coin's potential value, with some predicting that it could fetch several $1 million at auction. However, no one could have predicted just how much this coin would eventually be worth. When it was finally put up for auction, the bidding soared to unprecedented levels. In a dramatic moment that left numismatists and collectors in shock, the 1976 double die penny sold for an astounding $761 million, setting a new record for the most expensive coin ever sold at public auction. The sale of the 1976 1-cent coin for $761 million was a game-changer in the world of coin collecting. It sent shockwaves through the numismatic community and beyond, capturing the attention of the media and the general public. The story of a simple penny fetching such an astronomical sum defied logic and challenged everything people thought they knew about the value of coins. How could a coin that was minted in such vast quantities and originally worth just 1 cent be worth so much? The sale raised profound questions about the nature of value, rarity, and the forces that shape the collectibles market. One of the most fascinating aspects of this extraordinary sale was the way in which the value of the coin was determined. While the rarity of the 1976 double die penny was certainly a significant factor in its value, it was far from the only one. The coin's condition played a crucial role in its price. In the world of numismatics, the condition of a coin is one of the most important factors in determining its worth. Coins that are in excellent condition, with little to no wear or damage, are far more valuable than those that are heavily worn or damaged. The 1976 double die penny, which had been preserved in pristine condition, was a prime example of how a coin's quality can impact its market value. Another important factor that contributed to the coin's astronomical price was its historical significance. The 1976 bicentennial series of coins was already a significant part of American numismatic history, and the 1976 1-cent coin, with its design featuring the Liberty Bell, was seen as a tribute to the nation's founding ideals. The double die error only added to the coin's mystique, making it a symbol of both chance and history. The rarity of the coin, combined with its connection to a pivotal moment in American history, made it even more desirable to collectors and investors alike. But perhaps the most intriguing aspect of the 1976 double-die penny's rise in value was the way it became a symbol of the unpredictable nature of the collectibles market. In the world of rare coins, as in many other markets, the value of an item is often shaped by factors that go beyond its intrinsic worth. The price of the 1976 1-cent coin was driven not just by its rarity and historical significance, but also by the growing demand for rare and unique items. As more and more people sought to invest in collectibles as alternative assets, the price of the 1976 double-die penny soared to unprecedented heights. The sale of the 1976 1-cent coin for $761 million was a milestone in the history of coin collecting. It demonstrated the power of rarity, the allure of history, and the unpredictability of the market. It also reminded us that value is not always determined by face value, that sometimes, the true worth of an object lies in its story, its uniqueness, and its place in history. The 1976 double-die penny, once a simple coin worth just 1 cent, had become a symbol of wealth, history, and the fascinating world of numismatics. If this story has captured your imagination and you want to learn more about rare coins, historical treasures, and the incredible world of collectibles, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more captivating tales from the world of history and numismatics. Who knows, maybe the next great treasure is waiting to be discovered in your own pocket.